Top and Connor High. Today is March 20th, 2019. I'm Abby.
And I'm Amaya, and today we'll be talking about how Lone Star College is opening a resource center for students and the opening of the new healthy food eatery in the Woodlands.
So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for today's episode of Total Recap. Breaking news, Lone Star College has office rooms behind a glass window that contains resources like food and clothing. Wendy Evans said there is a need. What she meant was if there is 21 students in a class, most likely 10 students would have not ate before coming to class. They made this room last year because they saw it was a major problem, students not eating and sometimes coming in with some not so necessary clothing. This room has helped out so much and many students are well appreciated with this room.
In other news, Flower Child is a new eatery in which is a concept of Arizona-based Fox restaurant that recently opened Wednesday of March 6th in the Lake Woodlands Crossing Shopping Center. It's made up for just about anyone to come in and dine with us. Lofton said even after less than a week of being open, Flower Child is making a splash in the Woodlands. More than 100 customers lined the sidewalk outside the restaurant at the grand opening, and the line was out of the door by lunchtime. Now we'll be right back with weather after a quick commercial break.
Yeah, what y'all finna do after school? Yeah, what's it do? I saw that last night.
What are you doing?
Huh?
Don't you know what walking and talking is? Get back to class.
Oh yeah, my bad.
See, the way my leg's set up, it's gonna take me a minute. You're trash, that's all I gotta say.
I was beating you last night.
No, you weren't, bro. Oh my God. And then you had your sliders up your
Bro,
feet.
I beat you 3 times.
All you do is build, bro.
Exactly,
All you do is build, bro.
And then I'm studying all my classes too, bro.
That's because all you do is sit down and play Fortnite every day. Oh my gosh. Come on, 1v1 me, bro.
Bro, how you gonna tell me? I swear.
Hey guys, I'm Amir, your weather anchor for today. The high for today will be 70 degrees and a low will be 48 with partly cloudy skies, and if we look at tomorrow, we can see the only difference in the high will being 69. Now for the rest of the week, the weather is going to be nice spring weather until Saturday, where we're going to get some pretty big storms. Now to wrap things up with our fact of the day. In Texas, it is illegal to put graffiti on someone else's cow. That's all for weather. Now we'll take it to a special interview with Sergeant Moranci from the National Guard.
We'd like to welcome today's special guest, Sergeant Moranci from the Texas National Guard Army. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Moranci.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Sergeant Moranci, first question is what is the National Guard?
Well, the National Guard, we are a part-time component of the Army. We have the Army Active Duty, the Army Reserves, and then the Texas Army National Guard. Our biggest difference between the branch, what sets us apart, is that the national disasters. So the Army National Guard, our main objective, our main priority is within our borders, within our state. So I typically like to use Hurricane Harvey as an example, because that was the last natural disaster that we had. So anytime a natural disaster occurs, our boss, the governor of Texas, being Governor Abbott, he can activate us. And there's over 15,000 of us in Texas. So our main job here in the state of Texas is the safeguard and protection of citizens, of those that do live in the state of Texas. So yes, that's the difference.
What does the National Guard deploy overseas?
Yes, we do. We do deploy overseas. I mean, we have humanitarian missions overseas that we actually grab a hold and go to. So right now we have units that are in Honduras, in Egypt, in Afghanistan, in Africa. And what we do when we go to these different countries, we help train their their armies. We do a lot of humanitarian missions while we're there too. So we'll help build churches, build schools, that kind of stuff. So because here in the state, in the United States, I mean, the National Guard, we're community based, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, overseas we pretty much do the same thing.
Good to know. How's the National Guard different from the other branches?
Our biggest difference between the other branches is our mission. So because we are part of the state, our big mission is the protection of our individual state. So our biggest difference being during times of natural disaster, the governor will call the National Guard. He won't call the Army Reserves or the Marine Reserves or Marine Active Duty. They'll call on the National Guard because that is our main objective.
Yes, sir. How many juniors and seniors that go to CHS are in the National Guard currently?
Currently, there are 4 juniors and 11 seniors. So we have 15 students here at Conroe that are actually in the National Guard right now. Every single month they'll come and they'll drill with me 1 weekend a month to get them prepared for basic training. Mm-hmm. And you probably know some of them, and you probably don't know a lot of them. 1 year old actually is in the National Guard. I don't know if you know Josue Hernandez, but he's in the National Guard as well. Yeah, so there's 15 of us.
Okay. When can someone join the National Guard?
At 17 years old, and they have to be a junior. So those 2 requirements, of course, there's other things, but you have to be at least 17 and a junior to join the National Guard.
Can you leave the National Guard and go to another branch of the military?
Yes, you absolutely can. There's a couple of things with that, though. I mean, there's this one thing that we call a conditional release. What that means is if you're in the National Guard and you decide, you know what, I want to go active duty. Well, if you're stationed here in Texas, your commander would have to sign this one paper that's a conditional release, which releases you from the National Guard on one condition, that you join another branch. In the past, people used a conditional release as a segue or an escape route to get out of the military early, but now they've put this into place so that now if you don't join another branch, you're now considered, unauthorized absence or UA. So yes, you can leave the National Guard and go to another branch because we're part-time. It is very difficult to do it the other way, like if you're on active duty and you decide that you want to go part-time. It's very seldom that you see that, but if you're part-time, you can always leave to go full-time.
Can you choose where you would like to be stationed?
Absolutely. As long as your job that you've chosen. Are you familiar with the ASVAB?
Yes.
So the ASVAB, it's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's a lot of words for it's a military test. And whatever score that you get from that test, now you qualify for a certain number of jobs. And from those jobs, I will show you pick your job. And whatever job that you pick, now, depending on where those jobs are, let's say that there's 5 jobs here in the state of Texas. Now, I will ask you, well, here's your 5 locations. Which one of these 5 locations would you like to be stationed? Most people will choose whether or not they will go to college in a certain area. They want to be stationed near their university, or they have family in this one area, so they will decide to be stationed near their family. Yes, so it just depends. But yes, you do choose, though.
Does the National Guard have full ride scholarships?
Yes, we do. It's called the Minuteman Scholarship. That's just one of them. There's others, but the Minuteman Scholarship is our big one because it is a full ride scholarship. There are 4-year full ride scholarships. There's a 2-year or 3-year, and just depending on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So let's talk about the 4-year full ride scholarship. Yes, we do have them. There's probably about 30 of them left in the state. And not everybody qualifies for them because they just don't give them to anybody that applies for them. Let's say that you decide that you want to go to a private university, let's say Baylor or Rice University.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you have the SAT score of 1,200 or higher, if you're already in the National Guard, if you've already been accepted to the university, And obviously there's other requirements, but once you apply for the scholarship, they go through a whole interview process to make sure that you do qualify for it, and then you get it. Obviously not every application is accepted, and just because you submit an application doesn't mean that you automatically get this full ride scholarship, but they do go through a process, and like I said, we have about 30 of them left in the state, and as long as you qualify and you apply in a timely manner for the scholarship, you can get it.
All right, that's all the questions you have, Sergeant Moranti. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Omar, your sports reporter today. In NBA news, Dallas Mavericks legend Dirk Nowitzki is now the 6th leading scorer in NBA history. MVP frontrunner Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James will both miss Tuesday's night matchup because of injuries, the teams announced Tuesday. The Saints and the Vikings have agreed to a deal that gives the Saints Nick Easton with a $24 million 4-year contract. Now for the quote of the day: "It's hard to be the person who never gives up," said Babe Ruth. And now we'll send it back to the anchors for a few announcements.
Finish up our newscast with a few more announcements. Leo Club meets today at 3 o'clock in room 202. The high school Democrats will be holding their March meeting tomorrow after school in room 304. They will be discussing their upcoming field trip to Austin, among other things. All are welcome to attend.
Sports medicine is now accepting student trainer applications for the 2019-2020 school year. Stop by the training room to pick up an application. They will be due Friday, March 22nd. Those are all the announcements that we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow us at KTIG News on all social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
As always, CHS, start strong, finish strong. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for more KTIG News.
I was thinking about you for some time. You the gold, baby, I can't find another kind. All that fighting that you do, in the end, you'll be